Section 380.1311, subsection 5, D and E. Once a written petition for reinstatement from expulsion has been received by a school district, the district must appoint a review committee consisting of 2 school board members, 1 teacher, 1 school administrator, and 1 parent of the pupil in the district. The review committee shall review the petition for reinstatement and make a recommendation to the Board of Education for unconditional reinstatement, conditional reinstatement, or against reinstatement. The Board of Education will then decide to accept or deny the recommendation. The decision of the Board of Education is final. The above-mentioned review committee voted 5 yes and 0 no for the conditional reinstatement of student 8-26-161S.
Motion.
Support.
Motion, Mr. Lee, support Mr. Zorn. Any questions?
You and Mr. Myers were on the committee.
Yeah, Mr. Meyer and myself were on the 2 board members on the committee.
Which one are we on here?
8.01.
Yeah, 8-26-161S.
Do you want us to look at 8.01 or 8.02?
That one's one, I believe, isn't it, right there?
Well, you know, the problem is they do both say student 1, so you need to be very cautious. Let me refer you to the date. What we're talking about is the reinstatement, if you're looking at the description date, August 26th, not the one dated 9/9.
Yeah, this one's the one now.
Just want to make sure crystal clear, what you know what I mean? No foul nature. Yeah. Which? So,
Did we vote this one?
So all those in favor?
yeah, well, it requires a roll call.
Roll call.
So, I mean,
Roll call.
so
Oh, don't we need a,
we have a motion. It's on,
Motion
I'm sorry,
second.
it's on the table.
Requires roll call.
Okay, Mr. Honeycutt,
Yes.
Mr. Masters,
No.
Mr. Myers is excused, Mr. Miller is excused.
No, Mr. Miller.
I'm sorry, Mr. Miller, I apologize, I was,
Mr. Miller votes no.
Mrs. Sweeney,
yes.
Mr. Zorn votes yes. Mr. Riley is excused. Apologize for that.
Motion carries 3-2.
I don't think so.
I believe it does.
We
It's,
need 4 votes for reinstatement.
I,
The majority of the board.
it's the majority of the quorum present. I've really been researching this in the last few months. And if we have some questions, but I'm confident in the extreme that this particular vote carries as 3-2. Our policies don't state anything other than simple majority. Again, the only exception is regarding Open Meeting Act requirements, and those supersede those. I invite anybody to look into this, but we can,
This has been our past practice of requiring a majority of 4. So if something has changed, we have a policy change or a practice change.
no, the practice hasn't been in line with the policy. Again, and I want to be very specific when I say this. I'm trying to be as careful and methodical as I can about this. I've gone through the policies quite carefully, and again, the only thing that is specifically called out as requiring anything more than a simple majority of the quorum present are those items covered under the Open Meetings Act, and I can show you the Open Meetings Act is required. So again, Robert's rules prevailing would state that a simple majority of the quorum present is the requirement.
And I'm saying that that has not been the practice of the board in the past, and if there's been a change, then I, as a board member, have not been reprised of that update, even though I am in favor of this, with a 3-2 vote, we need some clarification.
Votes already happened, so at that point, it doesn't matter if they're not happening.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Move on. That's fine.
We need to clarify
I-
what this actually means and where we go from here.
And again, I would refer everybody merely to the policies. Again, I brought this up in the past, the fact that, in my belief, we haven't been acting in accordance with the policies in the past. There's no reason to not act in accordance with those now.
And I'm just telling you what I've been told in the past by attorneys, that anytime we have a roll call vote, you need a majority of the board voting for or against a proposal, which a majority of the board is for, at least 4. So I'm just saying we need clarification.
Okay, so, again, I brought this up before, so I will ask, I'm not sure why we would need that. I invite anybody to clarify that. And when I talk about clarification, what I mean is we need to cite specifically the MCLA line, our state law requirements. Again, I've gone through it. The only state law requirements regarding quorum that I've been able to find, talking to those that I'm familiar with this, specifically covers the Open Meetings Act. I can refer you to that. I believe it's MCLA 130.1.
Votes already happened. I understand what you're saying. Votes already happened. Move on to the next one. Let's figure out.
No, the problem is, we need to get better. If there's misunderstanding, we need to understand going forward what the correct procedure is.
We aren't going to be able to solve that right now.
So let me just ask one other thing. Who is the authority on this? I'll be honest, I've researched it, and so if you're asking for clarification, I would refer to our own policies.
I'm not trying to persuade either direction. I'm just saying none of us sitting at the seat are attorneys, and we have had attorney recommendations about this in the past, so we need to clarify what our legal requirements are.
So, Mr. Williams, can I ask, because now we're in a bit of a quandary regarding this, if this particular motion is defeated, what does that mean with regards to the student at hand? Does that mean that the issue is re-reviewed and it comes back? So we have 2 elements here. One is the overall process, and 2, what happens in this particular case. That's why it's important, because it's relevant to this particular case.
Right.
And it's happened in the past where we've had a 3-2 vote, and there's not a majority of the board, so it is able to be brought back. Once you have a majority of the board vote on an issue, unless something legally has changed or new information has come up, the vote stands or requires a full, can be brought up if it does not have a full approval or declaration of that item. Or person vote.
So we'll move on from this, but Mr. Williams, I will beg you, please help us get clarification so we don't have this problem again.
I will do my best.
I'm not sure what the authority is. Let us continue on. The next item is student reinstatement 9-9-161S. The above mentioned review committee voted 5 yes and 0 no for the conditional reinstatement of student 9-9-16S.
Motion.
Ms. Delaney,
Support.
for Mr. Miller. Any questions? Requires roll call vote?
Mr. Honeycutt.
Yes.
Actually, Honeycutt should be last.
Yeah, that's right, because thank you very much for that. Mr. Masters.
No.
Mr. Myers is excused. Mr. Miller.
Yes?
Mrs. Delaney.
Yes.
Mr. Zorn votes yes. Mr. Honeycutt.
Yes again.
And Mr. Riley is excused for the record.
Motion carries 4-1. Next item.
9.01 personnel reports as amended.
Motion.
Ms. Delaney,
Support.
support by Mr. Zorn. Any questions?
There's one of the executive amendments, the clarification of the new positions.
Is that Andy?
Yeah, on the certified personnel report under employment, which is B, the last 2 entries, the new position should be reflected as vacancy.
Vacancies or replacement.
Yeah.
So those last 2 replacements, correct?
you're filling a vacancy, that it's not a brand new position.
All right. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item.
9.02, security guard agreement. Motion.
Zorn,
Support.
Mr. Leany. Questions?
I do have a statement. The
Okay.
individual that's listed there is not related to the director of security. They have to have the same last name, but they're not related. I did ask that question. And this is, a couple weeks ago, we had asked, I believe Ms. Tony had asked about whether or not we were going to need a sixth person. And we said that we may. And if we did, we were going to make the schedule differently. So what's going to happen is we'll have 3 security guards at Truman, 2 at Kennedy, and then there'll be a share between Kennedy and the career/TBLA.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item.
9.01, other one.
I have another one.
Okay.
I would like to ask the board for advance authorization for recall and/or hire. We did have somebody who resigned, that's going to resign effective on Friday, and we have attempted to contact the next person on layoff, and that person has declined the position, so we kind of go down that list. But also, prior to doing that, the superintendent, assistant superintendent kind of wanted to look at our numbers before we did any recalls, so if it should happen to come up before our next board meeting of the 26th, I would like to really get the teacher in if we need the teacher. And then also, we did have to hire a new preschool teacher, and we did find somebody in a preschool ATA aide. And we found somebody, but we didn't have time to put them on the personnel report.
So I'm sorry, there was a number of things that I want to make sure I'm getting them straight. So there was a replacement for a certified,
Correct.
and then go on, what were the other?
A preschool teacher, a preschool ATA, and if needed, because of some of the other vacancies that we have, if I could go ahead and do the layoff or recall. I mean, it's layoff or recall.
So it's all one-for-one replacements.
Yes. I mean, like, there's an OT position that's out there, that's a new position based on need, so obviously we have to fill it to be in compliance with special ed.
Motion.
Support, Ms. Leany. Mr. Masters, any questions? Hearing none, all.
I'm sorry, are there any other vacancies for positions that need to be filled?
You know what, I will have to double check, and I can send you guys a list of those. I know that OT is out there, and it looks like that our special ed members in one of the schools, that we have a half-time person in there right now, may be going up, may warrant it, so it might just be that we have to change that .50 to a full-time position, or a three-quarters position, something like that. But I can give you guys an update tomorrow.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item.
11.01, closed session.
There is no closed session. Next item.
There's none.
Nope.
12.01, possible action following closed session. None. 13.01, other two.
Anybody, any other two? Okay. Next item.
Missing something? 14.01, adjournment.
Motion. Support. Motion, Mr. Masters, supported by Mr. Miller. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. We adjourn at
6:57.